Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tipped. Julian here for the 4th episode of my preseason content. This episode about players that might have a nice breakout season. I'm going to be listing 7 of them for you today. And these are players that you can definitely get excited about for next season. Not all of them will necessarily have a breakout, but I'm listing 7 that definitely have a good chance to break out. Before we got started, guys, please drop a like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you haven't yet heard, guys, I have started a Discord community. Get into that Discord chat and chat with fellow fantasy tipped subscribers and chat with me a little bit as well. Also, we started an Instagram, so be sure to follow that as well. Both those links can be found in the description below, so definitely make sure to join there. And if you haven't noticed, I've also added a join button to YouTube, and if you do click that button, guys, you do get access to a draft guide, which I'm dropping in the next day or two. And that draft guide is essentially a Excel spreadsheet with all of my rankings, and that's going to be really helpful come draft day. So you definitely want to hit that join button. And there's so many other perks that come along with it as well, like early access videos. And in the preseason, I upload a lot of videos early and set it to release a certain date. But if you are a member, then you get access to them right away. So definitely that'll help as well. And there's so many other perks as well. So definitely, if you do want to support the channel, mean a lot to me, hit that join button. Let's jump into it now, guys, and let's take a look at my first breakout candidate. And my first breakout candidate is Jack Quinn of the Buffalo Sabres. I think he's a huge breakout candidate, one that I'm almost 100% confident that he will have an amazing season. He should be a top 100 fantasy player at the very least. This guy's going to be getting top 6 minutes and probably top power play time on a pretty good Buffalo Sabres team, a team that might actually make the playoffs this year. Jack Quinn has a boatload of talent and unfortunately spent a lot of last season injured, but when he was healthy, he was very, very good. He's someone that could really up his shooting volume this year, and really we can see him take that next step and be an absolute stud this year. Jack Quinn is someone I'm very excited for this year, and NHL has him not even ranked in their top 200 fantasy player. If this is the case and he's not going in the top 200 in drafts, that's absolutely insane. He needs to be on your draft radar. Next, I have Jake Sanderson. He's a legit number 1 defenseman. I think he could really establish himself this year as a top-tier defenseman and should get the top power play time in Ottawa over Shabbat this year. I imagine Ottawa's power play will be a lot better than it was last year, which could really help boost his stat totals. This is a young defenseman that's gotten better the first couple of years he's been in the NHL, and I can only imagine he takes that next leap this year and really becomes a stud fantasy defenseman. Once again, NHL does not have him ranked in their top 200 fantasy players, which I think is a little bit crazy. Even if he performs the same way as he did last year, which was good, but not amazing, he's a top 200 fantasy player. So that's a little bit strange to me that he wasn't included there. I think he's going to have himself a very, very nice season. My next breakout candidate is Kirby Dach, and I could have had him on this list last year as well. Maybe I did, but Kirby Dach is someone who has a boatload of potential. Unfortunately, he only played 2 games last year for Montreal before getting injured for the whole season. So we have to cross our fingers here and hope that he can actually stay healthy this year. But in the 60 games he has played for Montreal so far, he's a total of 40 points, which is pretty good. But I think he can only get better from here. He's a super, super good, talented player. And if he can actually stay healthy, this could easily be the best year of his career, and he can really show what he can do in the NHL. My next breakout candidate is Anton Lundell, and I think that he could finish a lot higher than the position he finished last year if he can get that number 2 center spot this year on Florida's second line instead of Sam Bennett. And if he does that, he's going to play consistently with Florida's top guys. When you watch him on the ice, you can see that this guy is full of skill, and getting more minutes with top guys could just push his game to that next level. That being said, though, he isn't locked in as a natural center, so you probably have more than enough of those on your team before you go and grab him in drafts. But if you're in a super, super deep league, this guy's probably not going to be even drafted in the majority of leagues. So It's definitely someone you can go and target, or especially if you're in a league where you don't even have like forward positions. It's not like center, left wing, right wing. It's just forward. Anton Liddell is an option for late in drafts. If he does win that number 2 center spot, I think he really could have himself a nice breakout season. And breakout being 50, 60 points at least, considering he's already had over 40 points the last couple years. Next, we have William Eklund. At the end of last season, he was 11% rostered and once again, not ranked on NHL's list of top 200 players. Now, San Jose has really improved a lot over the offseason. Obviously, they got Macklin Celebrini. Will Smith will be playing in the NHL, and we got Tyler Toffoli as well. So William Eklund is going to have a whole lot more firepower around him, and the kid is really, really talented. I think that he's going to have himself a really nice season. He's going to go super under the radar probably in drafts, but he's someone that you probably want to throw a late round pick at because I think he's actually going to have a really nice year, and we're going to really see his breakout considering he's finally surrounded by half-decent players to play with. Next guy I have on this list is Tommy Novak, and he hasn't gotten really a consistent role in Nashville's top 6 yet, but he's been putting up the numbers. In 2 seasons in a row now, he's gotten over 40 points with limited ice time. His defensive game does leave a little bit to be desired, but this year, he probably gets that opportunity to play with Marchessault and Steven Stamkos, so probably a lot of offensive zone starts, and really a great opportunity for him to hit 60 points this year. I would not count that out at all. This kid is super, super talented. I love me some Tommy Novak this year. All right, and finally, my last breakout candidate is Juraj Slafkovsky, and you guys might be thinking, didn't he already break out last year? Yeah, he was definitely really, really good last year and was much improved over the previous season, but guys, I don't think that was his breakout. I think that it's not even the tip of the iceberg on what this guy can do. Last year, at the end of the year, he was 30% rostered, and NHL does have him ranked at 101 on their top 200 players. I think he can finish even well above that. If you look at his stats from last year, guys, in October he had 0.11 points per game, November 0.4, December 0.5, January 0.5 points per game, and then come February he was a point per game, March 0.77 points per game, April also a point per game. So if he can maintain the kind of consistency and play that he showed late last year, oh my goodness, 70 points is very realistic for Juraj Slafkovsky. I see him having an absolute monster season this year, and I don't mind drafting this guy in my fantasy leagues at all because I don't think he'll be going that high. And that's it, guys. Did you enjoy my breakout candidate suggestions? If you have any other guys that you think might break out, mention them down in the comments. I'm curious to see who you guys think is going to break out this year. If you haven't already, guys, drop a like and hit that subscribe button. Hit that join button if you want to support me even more. And I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tech.